Good morning, everyone. I am out with Dreamy, who just kidded not even 12 hours ago. We did milk out her colostrum last night. The babies are in the house. We're already starting to evaluate her kids. I'm going to talk through a little bit about how we evaluate them and how we decide whether we're going to keep something, if we're going to sell something intact, or if we're going to sell something as a pet. So I always start with the dam. So the kids, obviously, they're only a day old. There are some things that we can see, and we're going to talk through them in a little bit. But I'm going to start with Dreamy. So Dreamy, right out of the gate, conformationally, she's an improvement in rump over her dam. There's a lot of similarities. I think she's deeper bodied than her dam. She has her dam's nice front end with a decent brisket. She has nice rear udder height, an okay fore udder. So those are all things that I like about her that are going to keep her in the herd, at least for now. With her being our first doe to kid this year, the way we normally work it is we let 2 or 3 older does go, and then we retain 2 or 3 younger kids normally. So what we're trying to do is kind of weed out the 2 or 3 does that have freshened, that are the furthest away from our ideal goat, and then we keep kids out of the most promising animals. So Dreamy had a doe and a buck last night, and the funniest thing is neither one, the dam or the sire, have very noticeable moon spots, and the kids came out loaded with them. Now we were kind of giggling because we are not color breeders, and like I said, I had no idea that either one actually had any, but there are some moon spot genetics, so it's totally possible that they have them. So that does not play into any decision we make regarding whether they stay or they go. We have a very plain herd in general, so it's actually kind of fun to get a few new colors out there. Just when we are looking over the goats, it's kind of fun to see a variety, but no, it has no bearing on if we keep an animal or not. The next thing, we do not keep polled goats. We don't have any polled genetics in our herd, so that is also not a factor of if we keep or sell any of the kids or retain anything. Next thing we're looking at is I'm always trying to keep the next generation in hopes that it's better than the last. So I actually am always eyeballing my first fresheners, because if they are the improvement over their dam that I want, then I am definitely looking at their kids. So some things with Dreamy, like I said, one thing we lost that I'm not real thrilled about is Birdie has gorgeous lateral attachments and Dreamy does not. There might be enough other improvements in Dreamy that I still feel like she's an improvement over Birdie. That's somewhat subjective, and it's kind of based on what my herd goals are. For Birdie, her biggest weaknesses are her rump and her milk production. So we already know we have a much better rump here on Dreamy, and actually I don't hate her udder. I think it's decent, but we're definitely not having the attachments that I hope for. So if we get a really nice jump in production in Dreamy over Birdie, that will probably solidify her place in the herd for now. So I'm just going to kind of walk around here. This is on about a 12-hour fill, and she's not even a day fresh yet. So we milked out the colostrum last night, and then I'm going to milk her this morning. So here's what we're working with. I think her udder's pretty cute and capacious, actually, for a first freshener. Teat size is okay. Placement, not as good as Birdie's. Rear udder height is as good as Birdie's, and I think her fore udder is maybe not as great. But like I said, there's nothing here that I hate, especially if we're going to get a little more production out of her. So for now, there isn't anything here that's going to tell me to send her on her way. So we're going to work with this and kind of see what she does production-wise. So part 2 of evaluating the keeper kids is actually looking at the kids. So we just kind of went through Dreamy, things I'm kind of happy that turned out, things I'm not sure about, things that, I'm not real thrilled about. With the kids, we had a buck and a doe. So first we're going to talk through the doe because we're looking for our keeper kids. So out of these two, the Chamoisé with the bigger black stripe is the doe kid on the left. The buck is on the right. So things we were looking for out of this breeding is we are hoping that they have Dreamy and Birdie's nice brisket. Unfortunately, I don't think either kid has a real great brisket. The kids that I have that have really nice brisket extension when I pick them up, even at a day old, it's like a fistful of brisket or a handful of brisket. And I don't feel that when I put my hand between their front legs. So that is one thing that I really was hoping to get out of this breeding, and I'm not seeing it. Being the first kidding of the season, she's a doe out of my buck that I really want to do a lot with. I think she's pretty comparable probably to Dreamy. I don't think we really lost anything except for that brisket. And for now, she will be retained. So, if we have more doe kids and they look better or more promising or their dams are better, then, she might get moved to the sell list. But this early in the season, there's enough good things here that I want to keep her. So right away, we're going to be looking for disqualification stuff. She's a nice, healthy kid, 2 normal teats. Buck kid has 2 normal testicles and teats. And so there isn't anything that would, rule either one out from being registerable and quality enough that I'd be comfortable doing that. Moving on to the buck kid, though. So for the buck kids, there's a few strikes against this guy. Number one is dam's a first freshener. That is not a total deal breaker for me if she was out of this world and I was liking what her initial udder was looking like. There's nothing about her udder that screams to me that this guy needs to stay a buck. I don't like that his front end isn't going to be really solid. That's a problem for me. Really, I don't sell a lot of bucks, and I don't feel like the world needs a ton of bucks. He's adorable. He's got cute color. He will easily sell in our market as a pet wether. So therefore, he does not get to keep his pieces. This little guy will be going as a wether to a pet home, and I'm sure he will live a great life doing that. Doe kid's future, like I said, for now, staying here. Hopefully she will pan out. You never know. The couple things that we do know, I like her rump. Her rump is nice and flat like her dams. Her tail is set really nice and flat. Those are things that I was kind of looking for. And for now, that is what the future holds for these two.